Greg, the last thing you said to me is she might be a little bit sharp, or she was.
Yeah, she certainly was. She's pretty fired up. I had a hobble carrier that come undone and was sort of annoying her through the way, so that fired us up a bit. I didn't expect her to get out the gate that quick. As I also said, I'd probably be sitting outside the leader. So, yeah, everything changed pretty quickly.
She was so good, and we already knew she'd come back really well, but that's just probably a confirmation, and now she goes on to better things, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. No, even just going back probably a couple of months now, when she was sort of working up, she was working up pretty good, and the great man himself, AR Tubbs, he did say to the owners, he said, this thing, she'll go through, she'll win an MO this time in, and both talking to Paul Dobson and myself, we both thought you might be aiming a bit high then, but he knew something we didn't, because she's come back in fantastic form, and on that run, you'd say she'd certainly win an MO.
I suppose now she just finds her races here in Victoria. There's plenty around, so you just keep her ticking over and try and win as much as you can in sort of the next 6 months and then reassess?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, who knows? Like, she's just sort of taken all before at the moment. This time in, just picking her way through her grades. I think she's C6 now, so sort of nowhere really to hide, so it gets a bit tough. But yeah, we'll just keep taking it 1 week at a time and just keep progressing through the grades nicely.
Glenn second up from a break. You just settled, sort of let Puppet control the speed to some degree, didn't have to go too quick, and you were just able to outgun him in the straight.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened in the heat. So when I was able to sort of get a similar run without having to come 3 wide, it made a big difference.
He's obviously a really nice horse, so you'd expect him to come back in the fashion he has. Where to now? What level does he get to, and where will we see him next maybe?
He just sort of kept running through the grades. We actually raced him out of class in this heat and series. So, he's still only a C2, so that he's got plenty of options there to find a race somewhere in the country.
Kate Saxon Rose, it was a much deserved win. She'd been probably going around in stronger races. Switched to the sand and she was too good.
Yeah, really happy that she got home tonight. She should have last week, and she put in, gallop near the line, which isn't really like her. So, they were frustrating, but I knew she was going well, and as soon as she stepped tonight, I was just going to, run nice even times, and I didn't think they'd be able to get me.
I suppose she's versatile. We know that she can run the gate from a mobile. Clearly she can step pretty well on her night, so you've got options with her going forward.
Yeah, that's right, and she seems to just be better in front. She tends to not trot quite as well when one's your hand up, and unfortunately she sort of got taken on her last 2 starts, and we did, so, given the chance, I think she's better in front, and she's got, like you said, with her gate speed, she should be able to get there.
John, that might be one for the DVD collection. I'm not sure if you know yet, but Englishman Darren Owens called you home, and it was a terrific call.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'll have to have a listen, yeah.
He was terrific tonight, Bad Billy. We know how much ability he's got, and the race worked out well enough that he was able to get over the top of them and then hold that late challenge as well.
Yeah, that's for sure. It was a perfect trip tonight, and I thought his run last week was really good. He sort of got the line really good last night, so last week. So the way the race panned out tonight, I thought he'd be getting home pretty good.
In terms of his future, I mean, he's a horse that I think a lot of people have thought at least Country Cup level is going to be his go. Do you think it can be this season? Is he still 12 months away, or is it now the time to really test him at that sort of better Country Cup level?
Oh no, I think now that probably the better horses are going for the Inters, and the Country Cups are still here, and he's going to be a perfect horse for it, because the way the Cups are normally ran, they're sort of very solid, and that suits him. So I'm sure that's where he should go. Yeah.
Gavin, obviously you didn't find the front, but plan B, C and D, it didn't pan out too bad. You were able to get to the breeze and sort of control the race, and he was the class horse.
Yeah, well, sometimes being in front isn't always the best place. Sometimes outside the leader is as good as any, especially when you're driving a horse of this ilk. He's such a great racehorse and never tightens a rein and makes it very easy for the driver, and it also stops the opposition from making a run earliest, simply because they probably know only too well that the death seat probably not going to be up for grabs. So yeah, like I say, sometimes being the death seat isn't a bad spot to be.
He's had a relatively checkered path. We know he's all class. He was a top flight 3-year-old. We haven't seen a lot of him since, but clearly he's come back in really good order this preparation.
Yeah, well, he was always, in his juvenile years, as 2 and 3 year old, he was always in the top bracket, and then, unfortunately went amiss as a 4-year-old. But he's come back, grown into him. He always had the stature there, but he's really filled out into himself now, and patience sometimes works in favour. I mean, I know it was an injury that caused him to have his time out, but it's done him no harm.
We know Emma and Clayton do all the planning, but is he a Country Cups horse this campaign? Say, I don't know, Cranbourne Cup level, is that where he's at? Where do you think we might see him, say, in the next 6 months?
Oh, well, I don't really know. I've got no doubt that he's destined for those races in the future, but whether or not they plan to go that way at this stage, I don't really know. But whichever way he goes, he's going to furnish into a top-class horse one day.
Brad, he doesn't have many friends out there. They never make it easy for you, but he's really strong, and he was just far too good.
Yeah, he's going good at the moment. Like last week, he had to do a fair bit of work, and look, at the end of the day, I trialled him the week before at Bendigo against the Pacers, and he went 158 and ran his last mile in 57 over the 21.90, and I think I might have taken the edge off him after he had 2 weeks off, but he was on tonight, went good.
He's just, we know how good he is, obviously, as a younger horse, and you've got him going particularly well now. Do you have any long-term goals for him? I mean, are you going to aim at a Great Southern Star, for example, or Group 1 races, or where do you sort of see him fitting in?
Yeah, in all them big races, hopefully. Hopefully he can run on and keep doing what he's doing for a bit longer. Long-term plan is to send him to stud somewhere.
Does he sort of shape as a horse that you'll continue to race sort of right through till midsummer now, or will he have a little let up in between before those absolute big Group 1s come around?
No, he'll probably keep going. Like, he might have a couple of quiet weeks here and there, but he'll just keep going. Like he had 2 weeks off not long ago, and he was just getting a little bit keen behind the gate, and I humped him out every day, every start for about 6 or 7 starts in a row, and he started to think, oh, righto, let's go, before the gate was even ready to go. So I just 2 weeks off and took him to the trials and eased him out, and he's just sort of thought, oh, yeah, it's not so bad anymore. So he's just a beautiful horse. He's my best friend.
You clearly didn't hear the call, Glenn, but Darren Owen from the UK was calling, and he said mid-race you're in the cockpit. I loved it, so I think we'll have to nickname you the pilot now.
Yeah, I'll take that. I could hear him coming over the line, so it's good to have him out here and enjoying the racing.
She was, she had obviously a few favours in front. You didn't have to overwork once you found the front, and you're a bit of a statue halfway up the straight. I suspect you did give her a couple of flicks late, but she had a little bit left in hand.
Oh, yeah, she did a good job. She probably was. There was a few nice horses in it, but probably just what she'd been racing. She dropped in class a little bit, and with her gate speed, it was being able to get a good first half. It was always going to be hard to get past her.
I'm not sure if you were thinking Perth, if you still are thinking Perth with her. What's maybe you're still tossing it up now, but what are your thoughts on where she goes to in the next little while?
Yeah, we give it a thought, but it's probably a bit hard to get over there. You got to race Amaretto, and now that the other bloke's not going, it's probably going to not be worth it. But there's plenty of good races around here she can race in, and she'll probably even be able to go into the Country Cups. And there's good mares races here early next year.
Josh, she sort of burst onto the scene about 18 months ago, and she just continues to chip away. And tonight, similar story. She just kept chipping away, and she was too tough in the end. Yeah,
she's a really consistent race mare. Ivan's done a super job with her. She's beautiful to drive, and she trots really nice. And she's won a few races now, and just does a really good job every time she comes to the races.
You had a decision to make, I guess, at the top of the straight. You could have waited for the passing lane, but you decided to come outside and let her wind up.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how Chris was travelling, so I just made the decision to get up on the Glenn's back. And at one point, I thought it was the wrong decision, but we'll first pass the post. That's all that matters.
And Ivan, he does a terrific job with her. He's obviously only got a small team in, but she's got a lot of talent, and he's looked after her really well. Yeah,
super job. He's had her whole race career, and right from the start, she's shown a lot of promise, and Ivan sort of guided her along the way, and done a terrific job with her.